Rebecca, how you doing? Okay, so I've got your post-up. Here are my sketches. Okay, so no written description of your experience. So let's just jump right over to your sketches. Okay, good job including some preliminary research in here. Boy, you know that 88,000, that sounds a little bit high for Subaru. You might want to just check that. I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying it sounds so you might want to check that. That's the only thing I'm seeing in research that might need to be verified. So, okay, first touchscreen tabletop that projects on a screen. That's fantastic. That's great. Excellent. Looks like you got the 360 view. You've got all sorts of different changes that you can make to configure the way that this looks. Now, moving forward, now where is this located? Is it actually in a private room within the dealership? So are you in there alone configuring the way that it looks? So try to provide a little bit more detail in that regard. This one, I think it's a great idea and it's a great feature to include in an interface, but this is not the interface itself, because basically this is a preliminary quiz that is asking questions that could offer pertinent information to the car buyer specifically, as you mentioned, and I thought this was a really intuitive, eco-friendly, find out where the car was built. You can also find out all sorts of different things through the questionnaire that is pertinent information. Where was the car built? You know, what's the carbon footprint of the production of the car, etc. And again, we talked about this a little bit, but this is also where you could offer information about without trying to invade personal, maybe these could be optional questions, but you know, physical characteristics. For example, what is your height? And is this specific car, okay, so for example, the Subaru, I think it's called a WRX, it's a smaller car, it's a really high performance car, but I've sat in one and I'm 6'2", so I'm not, you know, an extremely tall man, but I'm a little bit taller than your average man. So I sit in that WRX and I have all sorts of problems with banging my knees, banging my elbows. You know, do you see what I'm saying? The cockpit of that vehicle is designed for somebody that's smaller than myself. So that is something that could be incorporated into the questionnaire, and that theoretically could save a lot of hassles in the car buying process. So, I mean, immediately eliminating that. So, you know, the questionnaire says, you know, what is your height? I say 6'2". They say that, you know, the result could be that, you know, most drivers over 6 foot find the cockpit to be a little bit small. Do you see what I'm saying? Or I don't know how you want to approach that, but include stuff like that into the questionnaire. Now, the questionnaire itself is not the interface. The questionnaire is a feature of the interface. So I just want to make that specifically clear. It's a great feature to add to the interface, but this can't stand alone as an interface because it's not a configurator, right? Makes sense? And then this is a great idea. I love this. Virtual test drive. So I would take this a step further and say, okay, yeah, you definitely have what would be comparable to the cockpit or the seats that are used in Subaru. Did you see what I'm saying? So here's the seats. So the interior looks the same. And basically on the screen in front of you, you could have the configurator. So you're sitting here and you're configuring, okay, I want the wheels to look like this. I want the, you know, the same thing you have up here, except included in this interface, so that you can configure the car with all of the features added. Then you can test drive the car virtually. You could also, in this specific example, you could pick different road conditions. You could pick different weather conditions for the test drive, and hopefully the simulator would reproduce those conditions, so that perhaps maybe if you want to slam the brakes on a snowy day to see how the car performs, that would be wonderful. Eliminating I mean, this is all preliminary to the test drive. I don't think anybody's going to buy a car that without test driving it first. But this is all just giving the viewer, giving the potential buyer information that they can take. So you're kind of just eliminating all the negative experience associated with car buying the traditional way, through going to the dealership and dealing with a salesperson, right? Okay, so those are my recommendations. So you can take those back to your group and refine your ideas, and we'll see where this goes from here. All right, fantastic job, Rebecca. Thank you very much.